Today I'm watching The Twilight Zone, Season 1, Episode 20. The previous episode was about 1945, World War II, and this guy who could see light on people's faces, which basically meant that they were going to die soon, and he ended up seeing the light on his own face and then unfortunately passes away. So it was a really good episode. I'm very curious to see where we're going to go in this episode. We know it's about three people in this strange world, but everything looks normal, but there's something abnormal about it. So really enjoying the series so far. Very curious to see where we're gonna go with this episode. So thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And if you want to have a say in what movies or TV shows I watch, be sure to join Patreon. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. Yes, I'm excited to see more spaceships. That was a cool shot.
A home that is a place to be seen, but a strange, unexplainable experience to be felt.
Okay, very interesting. I like the way that they do the spacesuits even. Like, everything about this feels so timeless. Even though it was, a long time ago that it came out, but they do such a good job of making, like... We've only seen inside one spaceship so far, so I'm excited to see more variations. It almost looks like they have, like, life jackets, like deflated life jackets around their neck.
It's incredible. Conditions identical to Earth, and yet we're 655 million miles away from...
Oh my god. Okay, interesting. I was gonna say, is this gonna be like the plot twist again where we find out they're actually on Earth?
Anywhere now. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Crossing his fingers, and this above angle shot with their shadows on the wall is very ominous as well. Okay, yeah, it seems to be exactly like Earth, so...
55 million miles.
But it's like a freeze frame, like the dog's not moving. What?
No.
No? Well, what do you call that, a Martian? Here, boy, come on.
Yeah, the dog is just like frozen. It was so bizarre. It looks like a real dog, so I'm worried. Like, its tail is perfectly straight.
You mean, we're on Earth 200 years ago?
It's an interesting...
Whoa, I like it. It's so cool.
To my knowledge, Earth has never had more than one sun.
Okay, two suns. But yeah, it definitely feels like they've gone back in time. Earth version.
What I'm certain of is that we're not on Earth.
We're not alone.
It's like a copy and paste situation. Like, they took exactly Earth, but added an extra sun. Yeah. And everybody's frozen.
Seems to be in some sort of a trance, or...
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, he's not blinking or anything. It's so weird. I really like it so far. I'm curious to see where we're gonna go. Honestly, it's reminding me a little bit of those like nuclear atomic testing towns where they would have like mannequins in the window just to like simulate a real town.
Hey, mister! Mister!
Fishing.
Hey, wake up!
Are they dead? Is that what we're doing? Like, they just literally like got frozen. What? How is the music playing but they're not moving? What? Oh my god, could you imagine? And again, like a big scale production for the episode, like all these extras and just to stand perfectly still. It seems like an easy thing, but that's when you have to sneeze. And this guy leaning over the banister like this.
Well, in a sense, have speeded up for us or slowed down for them.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see where we're gonna go with this. Like, time is...
Well, this clock has no hands.
What? Time doesn't exist? Is that what we're doing? Oh my gosh, what? No clock hands.
Remember, we meet back here in 1 hour.
Yeah, it's reminding me a little bit of the first episode as well, where the opposite, nobody's in the town and he's the only person around, and then there's lots of people, but nobody is talking, everybody is frozen and standing still, and yeah, I like sci-fi, obviously, so I'm very curious to see where we're gonna go with this, and having these, astronauts explore this town. Oh, who's cheating at cards? This guy with his stack of all the coins. Oh my goodness.
Terribly sorry.
This music just got a very romantic. Is somebody having dinner? Oh. Yeah, and to see these people's like moments of their everyday life that maybe you're not supposed to see, like that would be such a bizarre feeling too, to walk in on like this beauty pageant, the mayor's homecoming, like all of these big events, the couple was having dinner and playing cards, like just a regular day for these people, and to just stumble upon it and get this weird perspective of them.
Can't you talk? Can't you move? Answer me!
It would be so bizarre. Yeah, you just want one of them to like snap out of it. Like what? Oh, okay. This guy seems like a trickster. Okay. Curiouser and curiouser. With this big grin on his face.
Sure, it wasn't all going to vanish in a puff of pink smoke.
And everybody got caught in like mid-action, like delivering ice or the ice cream truck or the lawnmower.
It's a nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live here.
You'd be the only one around. You'd be real lonely.
From now on.
I feel like that house was the house where, I'm blanking on the guy's name, but he came back for that carousel scene in that episode.
If you want it, it's yours.
In this economy? Sir. Please.
You don't mind if we have a little look around, do you, sir?
Oh! Yep, he talks back.
You're most welcome. My name's Wickwire. Jeremy Wickwire.
Jeremy, okay. Why are you the one that can talk?
But you're real.
Well, of course I am. Isn't everybody?
Not in this town, sir. This flute music in the background.
Wanted to be was a knight in armor, so he's out there in the medieval section, slaying a dragon.
Sure. Okay. What? He's slaying a dragon? Okay.
Equipment was knocked out. We got lost. Now, that was 6 months ago. We saw this asteroid and we landed.
It's always an asteroid.
I see, then you're not from the Glades.
What's the glaze? It's reminding me a little bit of like Westworld.
Yes, in 1985. Most of the Earth's surface was destroyed, and it's taken us 200 years to pick up the...
Which is crazy to think about when this came out, too. They would have been predicting the future of the 80s.
One thing right now. Where are we?
Why, you're in a cemetery.
Oh my gosh. I thought maybe everybody would be dreaming, like this person wanted to be...
Yourselves comfortable. I'll be back in a few moments.
Oh my gosh, this is grim. A cemetery? Okay, everybody's dead then, I'm guessing, including them? Yeah, like, they wanted to be this medieval knight. I thought, yeah, maybe they'd be dreaming, so they just got to be in this, like, trance state.
To peace, my friends. To everlasting, eternal peace.
This guy, like, runs the cemetery. So bizarre. Yeah, and people want to spend eternity, like, at a beauty pageant. Like, we saw that girl winning and celebrating a mayor.
You must give me some information. If you were granted your dearest wish...
Is their wish, like, how they want to spend eternity? I'm definitely guessing they're dead.
I'd like to be on the ship headed for home.
And you, Captain?
I'll go along with that.
He's gonna put them back on the ship. Yeah, thinking that they're going home. Oh, no.
Date.
September.
No, the year.
2180.
Whoa, okay. Very interesting. We don't usually get the year.
That's what it used to be. You see, the management hit upon this scheme as a service to those who could afford it.
Oh, there's a TV show called Upload.
For an example, if the deceased always wanted to be elected mayor, he would achieve his ambition here.
The mayor scene. Yeah, forever. Oh my gosh.
In other words, this is the place where your dreams come true after you've stopped dreaming.
Yeah, it's definitely reminded me of the TV show Upload, if you've seen that show.
But a cemetery out in space. Millions of miles from Earth.
We've seen the jail out in space before, now we've got a cemetery.
The caretaker. It's my job to make sure that our guests are not disturbed.
Like these three did when they came marching in, yeah.
Yes.
That'd make you a bit on the elderly side, wouldn't it, Mr.
Yeah, I'd be over 100 years old.
Rather embarrassing admission. You see, I'm not actually human.
Go on. Okay.
I'm merely a scientific device. I go on and off again, like a machine.
He's a robot. Oh my god, yeah, because they wouldn't normally need someone to be there. Like, obviously, if most of the residents are dead.
Gone on, as it were.
Well, you know what he's saying, don't you?
Did he poison them?
I told you not to trust him, I told you!
Oh, they look sick. Yeah, okay, bye.
The antidote. There is no antidote, Captain. Even now, the eternifying fluid is coursing through your veins.
Oh my god, so grim.
It won't be painful, I assure you.
He's way too calm about this. Oh.
You are men. And while there are men, there can be no peace.
I mean, I honestly thought they died when the ship crashed and that they were just... Oh, he put them back in the ship. That's where they wanted to be. Yeah, and now they're just, like, stuck in this permanent trance. He's just dusting them. Weird. So weird. But yeah, they don't, like, age like anybody they've passed. This is where they said they wanted to be, so... So that was my first time watching The Twilight Zone, season 1, episode 20. I really liked this episode. I know I've said it before, but I love anything sci-fi, and it was cool to see that exterior, you know, overhead shot of the ship, and then the interior of the ship as well. I like that they're branching out a little bit more. The first few episodes, I know we're still in the first season, and the first few episodes where we had space-related content, they would mention it off camera, or they would just be like, oh, our ship crashed, and you wouldn't see it, stuff like that, or you would just see, or there would be a tarp or something covering the ship and you would see an outline. So I don't know if their budgets increased, if they just felt they had some momentum, you know. Same with the previous episode, there was so many extras in this, and I know they were just standing still, but again, that can be harder than it sounds, because you might be standing still for hours at a time, you know, you can't sneeze, you can't move, you can't do anything. So yeah, the production value definitely seems to be increasing. And again, it's been amazing this whole time. I just feel like they're taking it up a notch, which is so great to see. And the costumes, the astronaut suits, I really loved, and I like that they don't make them so extreme it doesn't seem believable. Obviously, they're astronaut suits, they're space suits, they're supposed to look a little different, but you know, the diagonal zipper we've seen before, and kind of these, like, it looked like a life jacket or like a life vest around their neck, and kind of these like inflatable rings around their arms and their legs. And I just love the creativity of stuff like that. And this is one of the few episodes where we do hear them mention the year that it takes place in. Sometimes they'll leave it open-ended, they'll leave it ambiguous, but that it's 2048, I believe they said. And obviously when this came out, it would have been 1960, so that would have been a very, very big stretch into the future. And even when he's saying, you know, this Happy Glades cemetery place started in 1973, that still would have been in the future. So I love that we get to see what people in the 60s or people in the 50s, you know, thought the future would look like. So cool, and such an interesting concept. And again, it reminded me of that TV show Upload, if you've seen that show. Not with any spoilers, but basically it's these people can, you know, pick an afterlife for their subconscious. Obviously their bodies aren't around anymore, but they get to live on in these fancy resorts depending on how much money you have. And that's kind of what came to mind with this asteroid of these people get to live out their, wildest dreams, or that their happiest moments, and get to, do that for eternity, basically. So when all three guys say they want to be on the ship, going home, that's exactly where he puts them, in kind of this like staged performance. Like, they definitely look like mannequins. Obviously, I know they're real. And when he said, it's the cemetery, I thought, okay, these guys died when they crashed and are just kind of wandering around now. And of course, the caretaker poisons them. I was not expecting that, because clearly these guys say we have no fuel, we can't get out of here, we're stuck here. He can't just have these three guys wandering around. And also, there's nothing for them to do. Like, I don't even think there would be any real food. There would be no kind of life for them here. And the fact the caretaker is basically a robot, he doesn't say that, but he's just like, oh, I turn on and off when I'm needed. And that's also crazy, because obviously he looks just like a human. When we first saw him and he turned around with this like big, Cheshire cat grin on his face, basically, I thought maybe he's like a trickster. Maybe we're going for some kind of lore or something like that. That was the first thing that came to mind, almost like a Loki character, because he just seemed so happy that, like, oh yes, like something else has stumbled into my world and something else for me to, toy with. And he definitely had that mischievous, nature about him. And the fact that he's like, oh, I haven't been turned on, in 200 years. I've been out here this whole time. And obviously no one has come here, but to find out that, yeah, not everybody is dead, just certain people. Like, I'm guessing the girl who wins the beauty pageant, being the star of the show, is in fact the one that's dead, and everybody else around her, they say is just kind of replicas, or, they're not real, but they're just there to give that real effect. And yeah, very interesting that you'd get to kind of choose how you, live out your afterlife, basically. Like, this is their eternity. And I definitely feel like we used a similar set that we had in the episode. I'm blanking on the character's name, but when he goes to this carousel, he walks into his hometown, meets his parents. Let me know in the comments, but that house looks so familiar. And again, with an anthology, I wouldn't be surprised if they reused, sets and stuff like that. And this whole concept of, you can't be on Earth because there will never be true peace on Earth. And, they want to have this peace for eternity, and Earth can't promise that. Even when he says, like, oh, just take them out to the desert. Why do you need to be on this random asteroid? And we've also seen an episode with Jail on an asteroid. They love their asteroids in Twilight Zone. And to have the cemetery on an asteroid, but not in like the conventional sense of, tombstones and stuff like that, to see an actual, living community, and for better lack of words, like the houses are there, I even have the farm with the dog, and like all of the pieces, at a glance, everything looks real. But of course, obviously we find out that there's more, beneath the surface. And just Wickwire's approach and his commentary on Earth was very interesting. And what I like a lot about these stories is that they seem to be timeless. Like, war isn't anything new. That's been around for forever. And, the whole concept that you'll never be at peace on Earth. There'll always be something wrong, and there'll always be some conflict. And even when he mentions that a year in the 80s, I think it was 1985, that, they had the big nuclear war, and, Wickwire asks about that, because obviously he wouldn't be up to date on what's happening on Earth, and, wants to know what's going on. And they do mention that the Earth was, mostly destroyed, and they spent 200 years trying to put it back together. And again, I just love that it was in the 60s when they thought of these things, and this is what they thought the future would look like. This is how they envisioned the 80s. And yeah, again, there's so many pieces to this that I think you could take. And I love seeing what people think the future is going to look like, which is why I love sci-fi so much, is you get that kind of creative freedom to be like, well, this time period hasn't happened yet. I can kind of imagine whatever I want. And sometimes it's scarily, accurate, sometimes not so much. But yeah, these guys being so far in the future, I thought was really interesting. And to see their experience wandering through this town, and reminding me a little bit of the first episode as well, where instead of there's nobody, there's all these people, but they're not talking, and how weird of an experience that would be. I thought maybe everybody was going to be in this trance, they weren't blinking, they weren't responding. He just pushed that one guy who was by the river fishing, which is obviously how he wanted to spend eternity, and no response, nothing. He's trying to snap in front of these people to wake them out of whatever, spell they're under. I thought maybe we were going to go that route a little bit more, that this guy had cast some kind of trance over everybody, but obviously we find out that it's this floating cemetery. And overall, I really like this episode, a very interesting concept, and I like that we're getting, these bigger productions and seeing these guys explore this town and getting to learn what they learn, with them as an audience member. And, when they discover that this place is a cemetery, I definitely wasn't expecting that. And this robot caretaker character and getting to learn, the years and all the things that they think have happened and how Earth, still can't be this peaceful place. There will never be peace, and all the different sections that they had as well, like the Roman section and the Egyptian, and like, oh, this guy's slaying a dragon. Like, the possibilities are so endless. We didn't get to see that, but I like that they mentioned it because it just shows you, like, okay, what if you got there and you had some, crazy wild fantasy of like, yeah, I want to be out slaying dragons. Like, sure, no problem. We got a section for that. And yeah, it was very interesting concept for a show. So I'm very curious to see where we're going to go in this next episode, this mirror image concept. Curious to see where we're going to go with that. So thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. It almost looks like they have like life jackets, like deflated life jackets around their neck. Seems to be exactly like Earth, but it's like a freeze frame, like the dog's not moving. What? Fishing. What? How is the music playing but they're not moving? Oh, who's cheating at cards? This guy like runs the cemetery. Yeah, I'd be over 100 years old.